I'm Cherise Nicole with EUR Web and CNikky.com at the 6th Annual Essence Black Women in Hollywood. Now, we did have to talk to some people about my platform, Learning to Love Yourself. Have you had any insecurities? And if so, how do you overcome? Let's see what they had to say. So, okay, because my platform is Learning to Love Yourself. And in this industry, honey, it will push your insecurities to the limit. So will you talk to me a little bit about maybe what some of your insecurities were and how you learn to overcome when that happens?
Well, I mean, the three of us are really fortunate because we prioritized differently. Everything shifted once we got married and became mothers. Yeah. And it's not so much about getting caught up in the exterior, but really about the focus on what really matters, which is home first. Yes. And you know what I mean? But you have your moments. Like today, I was really having a meltdown about not being able to get my manicure, and then she texted me and she was like, "No chronic fatigue. Just say it's a new polish, new mommy, baby with a virus." And I was like,
and the whole point is to live your truth. I mean, one of the things I became so insecure about not living my truth that I took a step away from the business to create my passion and live my purpose with my healthy living company. Yeah. But again, it's the insecurity of wondering if people are going to accept your truth. So that's what made her text me this morning.
I'm in that moment right now. I just had a baby, and you see a lot of these women after they have babies, and you know, I have to give it to them. They look phenomenal. I don't know how they did it, but they look amazing. So for me, being in Hollywood and knowing that I'm not going to lose the way some of these women have, I have to learn to love every ounce of my body and every phase of it. I say every phase of it.
Person, then you want to start taking care of yourself. You really
They're not going to be there.
They're amazing.
There forever.
I had them. If you look at Haunted House, which I did 6 weeks after my son was born, my boobs need their own credits. They're ginormous. They've since gone away.
I know, mine too.
They've gone away. At 5 months, they quit. They were like, we're out. Deuces.
But as long as they're up, like Miss Thing, as long as they're at attention, they're fabulous.
Miracle Bras and Spanx. I live by the two of them.
Yes, I've got 3 of them on. And I still have curves.
I love it. So could you tell me a little bit about any insecurities you may have had and how you learned to overcome them?
I'll tell you insecurities I didn't have. Everything. I mean, growing up as the darkest girl in my family, growing up super thin, not having secondary sexual characteristics come in until much later, being the only black girl in all white communities. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Like literally feeling like I shrink when a beautiful woman walks in. All of that, it's been a journey, and you have to make a commitment to wanting better than functioning in dysfunction.
So tell me a little bit about any insecurities that you faced in your life and how you've learned to overcome them.
Well, when I was 20 and 30, they were insecurities. Now they're just a new normal. I'm 60 years old. So my expectations of who I am and how I look and how I show up in the world had to shift. Not because I couldn't help it or not because it was anything wrong, but because I had to get into the natural flow of my being as a woman. So I no longer have insecurities. I just have new normals. Right. The new normal that I can't read the writing on the cereal box.
Not when you need the readers.
The new normal that I've gone from a thong to a Spanx. It's wonderful. These are new normals. Who am I to be insecure about these things? I know they didn't make Spanx just for me, so there's some other women out there that have the same normal as I do.
Yes, amen.
I think the biggest insecurity was that I would not stand up to the image that I wanted to portray. For a lot of women, we build up in our minds who we're supposed to be. We're supposed to have it all. We're supposed to know it all. We're supposed to be able to do it all. And it puts a lot of pressure on American women. You can have it all, but not all at the same time. You can be it all, but not every single day. You can do it all, but not in every single way. And I had to get to a point where I realized that, I accepted that, and as soon as I did, it was a bit freeing.
I think a part of finding the right person is learning to love yourself first, right? So, have you ever gone through any insecurities? And if so, how did you overcome and learn to love yourself?
Yeah, I'm a chubby black girl in Hollywood. You better know that every day you wake up, you're going, did I tuck it in good enough? Is it wrapped up good enough? You know? But you have to, again, know who you are and know that God made a place for all of us. So I'm working because I look the way I look instead of in spite of. You know what I mean? So you got to always know that what's yours is yours, and it's going to come when it's supposed to come. Yeah.
You are beautiful and different for a reason. We're all supposed to be individuals.
Yes.
So.
I will not tell the world my insecurities because then they'll be looking for them. But I think that it's really important not to ignore the fact that you're insecure about something, but to recognize it, to see it, and either do what you can to address it and change that, or if you feel like you've done all you can and it's something physical and you can't change it, then focus on the positive. Because there's so much positive there, and I promise you, what you are insecure about, somebody else doesn't even see on you. Yeah.
That's really good advice.
I gotta play that back to myself.
So, have you ever gone through, feeling insecure about yourself? And if so, how do you overcome that?
Oh, God. I think that's a part of just human nature. You look at something and everything always looks brighter out, the hair is prettier, it's more human on somebody else. It's curling better, it's straighter, you can't get that inch off that you want. So, there's all this stuff that you can feel down about yourself, but then you have to really kick up the things that you like, then think about those things. If you have pretty teeth, smile a lot, pretty eyes. Do that, blink a lot at people. You got to really, then that's why it's so important to fall in love with yourself. That's how you find out what's good about yourself, and then you can push that forward. And once you do that, everything is great.
Amen.
Amen.
Have you ever dealt with, insecurities? And if so, how did you overcome them?
I guess I'd have to say my mom. We all need a role model to look up to, someone who really makes you feel positive about yourself and really accentuates the good things. And we can all pick ourselves apart all day long, but when you really honor the amazing things that you have and the person that you are, it is an absolutely, it's so freeing. It's so freeing when you focus on what you have, not what somebody else has or what you think you're supposed to have.
So, have you ever gone through any insecurities? And if so, how do you overcome that?
You know what? I had great women in my life to help me overcome that. I remember I went through a period where I didn't embrace my chocolatiness. I don't know if that's a word, but I didn't embrace just, my chocolate lifestyle, just being a chocolate, lovely, brown-skinned girl and being proud of that. And I remember Tina knows, B's mom, I remember being out in the sun and I was trying to shield myself from the sun, and she said, "Are you crazy?" She said, "You are absolutely gorgeous," and just told me how beautiful I was and how rare chocolate is and how gorgeous the skin is and all of this stuff. And I was just like, yeah, like a light went off, you know what I mean? And so between her and my mother and then me sitting out in the sun a little more just to be a little bit more chocolate, right? Yeah, you just embrace it. You embrace everything that you are as a woman, even your flaws too. And those things that you want to fix, and you work at making them better. Right. Yeah.
The first thing is to really first face yourself, face whatever you fear. When you have a fear, it's really rooted in that insecurity. In order to get over it, you have to say, you know what? This is what I'm afraid of. For me, I was like, hey, I grew up at a big head, right? So I had to get over that insecurity. You know what? I can't change that. So don't be afraid of it, but just embrace it.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. You just have to embrace it and go head first after it. Because once you go head first after it, you conquer it in your own way, and you're less afraid of it and less over time. And so that's what I've learned to just, and then also accept.
Amen.
Accept that might be your insecurity, and the more that you choose to accept that that's something you may not be comfortable with, the more you become comfortable with it. That's right. Oddly enough.
Thank you. I'm Cherise Nicole with EUR Web and CNikky.com, and remember to always see Nikki for what's good in Hollywood.